Howdy, everyone. I had an interesting reading the other day, so I wanted to share it with you. I am Robin Eagle Sage, medical intuitive energy reader and healer. And a lady came to me with cysts in her breasts and in her uterus. And so I looked into it, and the first thing that I heard was rape, that she had been raped, and that it was incest. And so I said, like I say to so many people, do you have any recollection of this occurring? And she said, yes, my grandfather raped me. And I said, well, that trauma is what is causing your growth of your cysts. And so we looked into it. I started doing a healing on her. And let's see, I saw a bunch of stuff. I'll try to go in the order that I saw it. So I saw her in a past life with a cardinal also raping her. So I don't know if that's the Catholic Church. I think so. Anyway, I saw a pointy hat, a red pointy hat. I Googled it afterwards, and maybe it was a bishop. But anyway, so she had that experience. And so these experiences tend to piggyback on each other. So you have them in a past life, and then you keep having them until you heal the issue, heal the trauma. And then then we saw that she had a past life in the Atlantean times. And at that time, she was a high priestess. She was an energy reader and healer, clairvoyant, psychic, whatever you want to call it. There are all kinds of different names for it. But she helped people basically, and she was in tune with her senses. And with the shifting of the axis at that time, and the floods and the deaths that happened on those lands, afterwards she felt extremely guilty because she felt that she should have told people, warned people about this. She thought she should have been a better energy reader, a better healer, a better psychic, whatever you want to call it, and been able to have forecasted, know what was coming, and then warn people about it. And she took on the responsibility of that big trauma that happened so long ago. And this is incredible, but so many lifetimes later, she still has the same over responsibility. And so what happens if you have guilt, you're going to blame yourself for it. In other words, you're going to hurt yourself for it. So as long as you have that vibration, I just want to be really clear about this because this is super powerful. Guilt is extremely toxic and to feel. And if you have it, you must self-punish. Okay, so as long as you have guilt in your system, you feel it about whatever. Maybe it's even from a long time ago, maybe it's from childhood, maybe it's from a past life, maybe it was from yesterday, whenever it's from, try to let it go because it will imprison you. So what happened in this woman's situation, and of course I will never mention any of my clients' name, they are protected, and they do sign a release saying that they are open to me talking about these experiences that they have with me, as long as I don't mention their name. So what was I saying? Okay, so the next thing I saw in her space, I scan the body and I do healings, and it takes me on a wild goose chase because I start with one thing and then I go to another part of the body and another part and then another part. So anyway, I ended up in her sacrum and I saw that she had a hex in her sacrum. And I don't really like using words like that because they sound really witchy. But I tell you, it looked just like a hex, and it was a hex. It is a hex, was a hex, whatever. We healed part of it. I don't know if it's 100% now, but anyway, it was a target, basically, where she had become a target. So when people do things again and again and again, these become patterns, right? And the patterns are extremely difficult to break. And we actually get accustomed to our negative habits and kind of seek them out, not consciously, but unconsciously. We have to get drawn to the same bad experience over and over and over again. And so I saw that there was a target in her sacrum. And the other thing I want to touch on is that none of us are victims. So even if you get raped or killed, or, the quote unquote worst things that can happen to us, it's all arranged. We're not victims because we take responsibility in everything that happens to us. So even if we're not aware of it consciously, subconsciously, we have arranged it with the persecutor. So we come together in the higher good for creating a learning experience, right? Hopefully more and more people are starting to understand that these days. None of us are victims. And the more we can know what's going on in our subconscious, the better, because then we can supersede it and create wonderful things in our lives and manifest all of our dreams. So anyway, I was really fascinated by this, we'll call it a hex or a target in her sacrum. And it was where it came about because she felt guilty. She felt so responsible for all those deaths. And of course, it was not her responsibility that these people died. They have their own contracts, their own karma, or whatever you want to call it, their own life path that they are figuring out, their own soul purpose. And because she felt so much responsibility and so much grief over what happened, she created this target. And so bad things just kept happening to her over and over again, until it was like this big black, it looked like a big ball of black energy basically on her sacrum, which is right above the tailbone and below the lower back. In case you're not familiar with your anatomy. And so I was doing some healings on it, and just saw all this grief coming out, all this guilt. And it was just really fantastic, to see that releasing, to see it dispersing, and to start filling her up with self-empowerment and all of her own energy, because of course we want our own healthy energy in our bodies, and to release all these karmic ties to the past. And so of course she won't fully heal until she lets go of the guilt and the grief. And so we worked on that a lot. And I have high hopes that she will become empowered in her, and notice that this is her sacrum, which is very close to the cervix, and the breasts, of course, these are her female areas. So if you're getting raped, not only in this lifetime, like she did by her grandfather, but also so much in past lives by that cardinal I mentioned, it's just gonna make it so difficult to get past those traumas. And so the only way to do that is for her to forgive herself from that experience. And in a lot of my readings, I hear that the person needs forgiveness to heal whatever issue, whatever health issue that is happening in their body. And sometimes we don't know what we need to forgive. Of course, we always need to forgive ourselves and others. And so, how would she ever know that it was this lifetime in Atlantis that started this ball rolling of this, negative habit? And the negative habit was saying, I'm guilty, therefore I must be punished. And then she became a target for it. And even though everyone thinks that they're not clairvoyant, they really are, even if it's on a subconscious level. And what's very interesting about how energy works is that if you have something like a target on you, everyone's going to see it. And so they have to respond negatively to that, at least to that one target, that one thing in your body. And so you could be this amazing person doing great things and going through life, and then just keep having these shitty things happen to you. And it has to happen because energy on the inside must match energy on the outside, in your outside world must match, be a reflection of you. And so obviously, life won't really change until you make that internal change. And so if you have any kind of health issue, it's always the best thing to do is to change your internal being, change your energy, change it to positivity, start working on forgiveness, even if you don't know what it's about, even if you don't know that, you were a high priestess in the Atlantean times or what have you. And it's so important to do that, to get back to those issues, because they all snowball on top of each other. So, it might have been like a cardinal in one life, and I kept seeing his fingers were really big, like he was a big man. And anyway, and then usually what happens is that it will, like, if it's, say a man was raping you in a past life, then in this lifetime now, it'll usually be, it could be like a grandfather, it could be a father, it could be, it kind of goes down the line until you deal with it. It could be, boyfriend, could be a stepfather, it could be a son. And you just have all this kind of different kind of energy and different relationships that you don't want happening. Just kind of, they're like layers, like an onion, and they just keep reproducing until you deal with the core issue. So very excited to have found this hex and to start clearing it for this lovely lady. And the other interesting thing was that she is very psychic still in this lifetime, and she's afraid to be psychic. She even had a YouTube channel and was doing her psychic thing, and then she just got afraid of people seeing her. So some of that fear came from being seen, from these past lives, not feeling that she deserved to be seen. And so I'm happy to be part of this new initiative, is what I'm hearing. A new initiative for her life to empower herself and to get her psychic abilities back, her intuition, or clairvoyance, which we all have, and to make her feel safe again. That's the key of this kind of healing, this kind of trauma, is feeling safe again. All right, that's all for now. Adios.